Hi, Dr. Paul Haider here. I want to tell you a couple stories. These are true. In fact, a person got a hold of me the other day, and a few months ago, he had his his left leg taken off, and and he was in the hospital, and he just had his other leg taken off, and he had diabetes, and his A1C or test was 4.7, which is not high. But every day his glucose would go jumping sky high, after eating, and that would do damage. There's no doubt about it. Damage to the vascular structure inside the body. And after a while, the his legs just gave up because that's the first thing. The distal extremities, usually the vascular structures, the glucose does damage to the vessel. And the doctor said, "Hey, did you notice your foot? It's turned black." And he said, "No, I never look at my feet." And boy, it's really interesting because this man kind of lives in his head, and that's really part of the huge problem that goes on with lots and lots of people. Uh, we have this long distance from 18 inches from here to here. And in order to be able to take care of our body, we have to love our body, you know. I think one of the most important things a person can do is affirm in the morning in the mirror and look into their own eyes and say, I love my body. I take care of my body. I love my body. I take care of my body. I love my body. I take care of my body. Because that's important. We were given this wonderful body as a gift, and then we just ignore it sometimes, and that's really not good. But first of all, there has to be love in a person's life. Has to be the ability to love the one we see in the mirror. If that doesn't happen, absolutely nothing happens. And healing is not possible because, first of all, we won't take our medication. Second of all, we won't eat right. And third of all, we just won't exercise or do anything. And so it's super important that we learn to love the one we see every day in front of the mirror. And so, how can we love anybody else also? And in fact, this person, one of the most important things in his life was to have somebody in his life. He was about 70 something. And he wanted to have somebody in his life, but he never really opened his heart in any way, shape, or form. He was always thinking about stuff, but never allowed his feelings to come out. And so it's not possible to have a loving, caring, giving, kind, nurturing relationship without an open heart. And this is part of healing also, you know what I mean? If we need love in our lives, relationships are wonderful. I think that they're important because we are social beings. And we're kind of like bees in a way, we all interact, and we're moving and connecting and helping one another. And without that, just like babies, babies that are not nurtured and loved, they actually die. And so we need this loving, kind, giving, caring, sharing, uh, contentment, love, the peace. This is a balm that this kind of spreads all over our body. Actually changes the energetic nature of all the vibrations that go around our body. And that's actually been checked out by science, and this has been proven in peer-reviewed articles about the the whole torsion system that actually goes on around our body. In fact, a lot of people have talked about it. And we have this energy coming from our feet and up and over our head and then out and around. And it's been talked about thousands of years, back into Sanskrit times in India, and about the chakras. And that heart chakra has to be open for healing. And so that's super important. And so this is absolutely vital. And another person, the person also has diabetes, but he doesn't want to say he has diabetes. In his late 70s, and you know he also has an A1C which is high, and he's having vascular problems in his legs, but they still function, thank heavens. But he's not taking medication like he's supposed to, or he's not really even taking any herbs like he should, which would be a big thing because I would like to see this person save those legs. you know, it's really be terrible to be in a wheelchair. And first of all, we have to love ourselves. And this person also tears up on a regular basis, all the time, in fact. And he went through some very hard times in his early years as a child, and his father was not nurturing, and his mother was really not that nurturing either. And because of that, he has great feelings. He's you know, an amazing person, and he has a lot of feelings, but he just kind of bottles them up all the time. And bottling feelings up also does damage to our body. There's no doubt about it. That is like we have anger bottled up, it comes out one way or another. If we have sadness bottled up, it comes out one way or another. So we need to actually allow our feelings to be expressed and allow that flow of energy. We stop the flow actually, and in that stoppage of flow is talked about in Chinese medicine also. The meridians of the body get stopped, and that's the end of the process of healing. And so we need to allow our emotions to flow. And truth, love, and, God, Creator, they're all synonymous. We've got to have truth with ourselves in order to allow ourselves to heal. And so it's a given. There's no doubt about it. And if we don't have truth with ourselves, how are we going to take our medication? If we don't have truth with ourselves, how are we going to be able to look at the bottoms of our feet and say, those are black? If we don't have truth with ourselves, how are we going to say, what, I don't feel good. I should need to do something about this. I need to go to the doctor. I need to check in with my herbalist. I need to do something. So we allow ourselves to make some changes. So that truth is very, very important. And we also allow that flow of emotions that goes along with healing. There's no doubt about that. There's absolutely no separation. We can't separate it. I talk a lot about herbs, and I talk a lot about, supplements that you can find in a capsule, but these are absolutely vital. I can't express enough how vital these are. And a lot of people take them for granted. Also, another particular young lady has had a whole bunch of her large bowel removed, and she bottles up a huge amount of anger inside because her father, was abusive to her and used to beat her, and so she just holds on to this like it was, very important for her life, and she's also skeptical about everything in life because of this. And then she really doesn't want to take care of herself. And so again, we have this whole process of this anger there, which is just separating that person from their own self-love. And so they won't be able to take care of themselves because they don't want to, because they have this actually an anger towards themselves. And that anger needs to be replaced with love. And anger needs to be healed by putting on the balm of contentment and compassion for themselves. And when we start to put that balm of compassion on, it soothes away and actually dissolves away that anger. And we have to allow that emotional stuff out. And this little The young lady has never done that. And so we have to allow our emotions to flow again as three really important things. And I think that's a lot of people just take these three for actually five or six for granted. But it's super important. No healing happens whatsoever. And there's also faith. Faith plays a huge role. The faith is the fact that I'm going to get better. If you don't believe you're going to get better, nothing is going to happen. There's no doubt about that. It just that same young lady actually keeps saying, I'm going to die early, and well, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know what I mean? It's very interesting because she says, say something happens to me, this is what I want to have happen. And that she keeps saying this over and over and over again. And so, what do you think's going to happen unless she changes her mindset about this? Because she really doesn't love herself. And so we need to have this faith that I'm going to be around for a long time. I have a faith in something bigger than myself, which is God, Creator, universe, Great Spirit, whatever way we want to call it. And we allow ourselves to, find solace in the fact that we're here to learn lessons and then change our lives and help other people around us. And I think a lot of people forget that this is the reason we came. It was not about just taking care of the body. We're here to help others. We're here to make a difference in other people's lives. We're here to end suffering. And when we do that, it's joyful. There's no doubt about it. We actually pick up a vibration of love from other people who are giving love to us because, wow, thank you for helping us. At the same time, we actually exude this energy from the inside out from our heart because we have opened our heart enough to help that other person. And so it's a twofold process that goes on. I remember one time watching these two people sitting in chairs, and one would read aura and tell them about the other person. And they had a thermal camera going. And you could see this person the reading is being done on this person. You could see the energy flowing to this other person. And then that person would actually do the reading. And they looked at this and they couldn't believe it. Actual energy was moving from one person to another. And we are connected in this universe of energy. And there is no escaping this energy that's around us all over. And we just kind of think of ourselves as separate, but we are not. We are one in this oneness, which has been talked about down through the centuries in every spiritual text there is. And so this is super important to see ourselves as one and to love ourselves as one and to connect with everybody and help those who are in need because they are part of us. And when we separate ourselves from them, and then we start to bring sickness to ourselves also because we're not helping part of the one we see it in the mirror. And that's super important because everyone is part of me. And everyone is part of you. And everyone is the one. And when we start to see everything as important as far as healing everybody, we start thinking a lot less about our problems and I'll start thinking about how we can make a difference in people's lives. And that changes everything. And this is super important for healing. And when we start to help other people, we break through a lot of the problems we have as far as, self-compassion also. And there's problems of self-love and then problems of loving others and opening our heart. And it can all start by just going out and working in a soup line. It can all start by going out and helping some people who are farmers and putting in a little time to help them because they're organic farmers and they need a little help because they're just barely making it. It can all start by just going out and working as a pink lady in a hospital or working as a volunteer in a hospital and helping those in need who just need to get to the water fountain because they're thirsty. Everything is important. So remember about self-compassion, self-love, uh, taking care of yourself because about truth and understanding that truth is one with understanding your own self-love. And to also allow yourself to be compassionate to others so that you can open your heart and allow yourself to grow as a human being and see yourself as one with everything. Thus, we move on to bigger and better things and we can heal from the inside out, starting with our heart. Remember, I love you. If you want to get a hold of me, all my consultations, whether it be spiritual or herbal, are always free. All my contact information is down below. Uh, and I love phone calls and emails. And if it's something herbal, a lot of times email is the best way. Also, I have Skype addresses down below. And also, one more thing. I just was ranked by FeedSpot as the #1 herbal uh, YouTube channel that there is in the world. So I feel very humbled. The #1 herbal channel on YouTube, according to FeedSpot, and they ranked 50 people as the best, and I was the #1 person. Uh, I wanted to thank them and thank everyone, including all of you, for all of that. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And if you care to make a donation, that's great too, down below. Great day, and I love you.